Hey, Vishal, great to see you again. It's been a little bit of time since we last chatted, and a lot is happening in SONiC, a lot's happening in the data center, and not only kind of the AI boom, but also just general connectivity. There's just so much excitement in the networking space, so it'd be great to kind of catch up with you and talk about the market. So I'm going to dive into the first question. Everyone knows you well, but first question is, what have we seen recently in terms of SONiC adoption? I've seen a lot of increased activity and increased interest. What are you seeing?
Yes, so first of all, Alan, thank you for having me, talking to you on these topics. It's always great to talk to you. Now, just diving straight into the question that you asked. In multiple dimensions, we are seeing the traction actually accelerating from SONiC point of view. From customer point of view, as you know, we interact with a lot of prospects who are watching SONiC from past couple of years. So we see a lot of traction in a point that the level of questions, the level of POCs, the level of discussions which these guys are doing now is much more serious in terms of, rubber is hitting the road in terms of the POCs, in terms of actually talking about how much exactly TCO going to be there, what is the return of investment for the future proof. And point of the reason is that they are seeing that networks are getting redefined for the AI era. It's not just, the data center, but pretty much everyone is looking on what they're going to be doing for this scale up, scale out, and the redefined ways of doing network. So that's one from the customer point of view. The second thing, what we are seeing in the ecosystem itself, if you have noticed, I mean, in past 6-7 months, there's a lot of different companies got funded by various venture capitalists, taking care of the demand, which they expect coming from the growth in the data center market, primarily driven by AI. And if you see the central stone there is essentially SONiC in all of them, right? Now, this may be hardware company, ASIC company, or tackling the scale up or scale out or front end, whatever. But one thing is common denominator across all of them is SONiC, which is again a clear marker that whatever new greenfield sovereign cloud or whatever happens, if it is not a vertically integrated system, it's going to be essentially SONiC based network. So we are seeing this from two different dimensions, and then also community is doing great. From the point of view that multiple different work groups are being made to take care of the protocol gaps. I mean, till last year, EVP and VXLAN used to be a big gap between the SONiC for data centers, and we have now customer deployed EVP and VXLAN with a traditional enterprise kind of workloads, such as NSX, VMware on top of it, or OpenStack on top of it, doing traditional VM migrations and creating and deleting VMs. So that is the enterprise deployment per se. So traction all over the place, and we believe that this curve going to be accelerating way faster than it was predicted in the beginning of this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into AI, can we maybe touch on one or two verticals within the enterprise space? Personally, I've been seeing a lot more SONiC interest in those proof of concepts across retail, financial, and even some in healthcare. That's what I've been seeing. Any kind of verticals you want to call out?
Yeah, so I mean, e-commerce is one. The tech companies who have massive data centers, that's another one. Then, of course, the retail and the healthcare, as you mentioned. Banking is essentially, doing a lot of different POCs, mainly from the point of view that what is the resiliency of SONiC in terms of, over the period of 3 months, how many failures it gets and everything. And we do those kind of stuff in our one center, wherein we actually do all these POCs. So we have pretty solid data in terms of all these verticals, what they are looking for. Now, few more, very interesting verticals which we are seeing is, SONiC on the edge from two different dimensions. One is the traditional retail kind of edge, and the other one is edge getting redefined for the inferencing on the edge. Now, there's a difference between the retail kind of edge, which is not that, like 800 gig, 400 gig networks, more of like 10, 25 gig networks. But the inferencing on the edge, they are starting with 400 gig kind of a thing, and it's more of future proofing on where this AI wave is going towards. I mean, training is one thing, of course, has happened, but now the inferencing gonna be happening on the edge. So the mobile providers, telco operators, I mean, these are another breed which are looking at SONiC not just from their traditional data centers, traditional deployments, but also looking at inferencing at the edge point of view. So these are multiple different verticals which we are looking for, which essentially are growing. I mean, interestingly, in all different use cases.
Yeah, absolutely. The inference at the edge and just inference in general is interesting, because when we think AI, we always think the highest speed. But when we start looking at inference, we're not all going to be at 800 gig or in the future all at 1.60. Right. You're going to have a kind of bell curve there of the different speeds at the inference layer.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So we said next question would be AI, but we got to it a little bit early, which makes sense given what's going on. Can we talk about SONiC in AI? You mentioned scale up, scale out, scale across, but just in general, there's a lot more interest for AI with SONiC. And maybe touch on each of them or touch on a couple areas that customers are highlighting the most.
Yes. So, I mean, if you see, this neo cloud is one of the category which I didn't mention in your previous question, because I wanted to cover that in this particular question. So this is a lot many deployments of the GPUs are happening, and this is essentially public news as you look at NVIDIA, how they are basically, selling all their GPUs and everything. So scale up, network, which is essentially NVLink or UAL, UEC, and all these kind of things. So that's one area which is driven by the the innovation which is done by the GPU vendors. So in this case, NVLink and everything. But the moment you start going towards a scale out, or as well as the front end, customers have choices, right? And especially if they are not going 100% NVIDIA, then these choices are there, and those choices are primary based choices. And there are two paths there. One path is actually you go either 100% NVIDIA, or the second path is you standardize, your scale out and your front end network on something wherein you can basically use the innovation which all ASIC vendors are doing. And if you are going towards, that kind of a standardization, the only answer there is SONiC. And the reason is because, that's the only operating system which is supported by all different ASIC vendors. And these ASIC vendors, they are not like, their innovation cycles, while they are all innovating faster than they used to in the past, but they are not aligning, just one after other. So if you want to deploy faster, your time to market for your customers has to be faster. The standardization helps in paving the path. And that's where SONiC is becoming mainstream on, scale out, as well as for the front-end network. In cases where customers are not deploying 100% end-to-end NVIDIA, I mean, in that case, it's a Spectrum X. So that's what we are seeing in the market. But as we have seen your research, as we are talking to customers, scale out and front-end networks are clearly where SONiC gonna be the de facto standard for future deployments.
Absolutely, especially as we look at multiple ASICs into the future, right? It's not just one ASIC, one OS. It's people are going to be deploying multiple ASICs, maybe between training and inference, or just across the life cycle as they move on that speeds and feeds conversation.
Yes, I mean, to your point, we have a customer who is a big, Fortune 100 kind of a customer, and their next generation of pod design is actually aligns with the kind of application and kind of work which they will do on the compute there. You see, I mean, and this is a transition from a static pod design. Now the pod designs are made. Is it a training pod, or it is an inferencing pod, or it is a compute pod, or it is a storage pod, and then based on that, you will basically gonna be putting different kind of ASICs and different kind of speeds and feeds to basically make sure that the efficiencies are best for the application of that pod. Now, if you do like this, then where is the standardization? And for the standardization is where SONiC comes in. It does not matter it is a training pod or an inference pod or a storage pod or application pod, legacy application pod. You can still manage the network with a single network operating system, which is SONiC. And this is something which a customer suggested us that, look, we're going to be having this multiple different kind of pods designed purpose built. So this is where the world is going, because the application needs are different for different kind of usage where they will be used.
Absolutely. We just talked multiple networking ASICs. Imagine multiplying that by multiple GPUs and XPUs, right? You get a lot of permutations. So standardization is the only way to kind of be able to consume that.
That is right. Yes.
Great. So we just talked a lot about the community, and we talked a lot about what customers are doing and the evolution of SONiC from kind of last time we chatted. Let's talk about what you've been up to. You've had a bunch of new product announcements. So what's been kind of in the oven that is now out and about, and what's customer feedback on your new offerings?
Yes. So look, I mean, Aviz has been, a SONiC community SONiC leader, right? And the vision always have been to enable customers with community SONiC, which is 100% open source, and provide them the experience which they are getting today. So, experience of the network operations, end-to-end experience of support 24/7, irrespective of which vendor they choose, experience of life cycle management of the community SONiC, experience for developing the features and the bug fixes and security vulnerabilities fixes and everything. So in past 3 years since we started this company, we have gained massive experience in essentially working through all the nuances which comes out of supporting open source community SONiC across multiple different ASICs, across multiple different use cases, and across multiple different behavior of various level of customer automation and the customer skill set present, right? And so in past 3 years, what we have figured out a recipe on multiple different kind of customers, how they can be supported with different kind of expectation which they have, while having them at open source community SONiC. So now is a time when you basically look for productizing this experience, right? So when I say productizing, it's the experience productization, not the the community SONiC productization. The community SONiC remains community SONiC. It remains open source. But what we have learned across our multiple different customers, the lifecycle management of SONiC, developing features, doing the bug fix, orchestration on top, observability on top, and even putting an AI-based copilot on top, we want to basically, formally put that in the market, that customers can come to our website and essentially download a heavily tested, community SONiC build alongside of the source code, right? Alongside with a test report for multiple different use cases, and essentially be assured that they can deploy that in the production network with a guaranteed 24/7 support, irrespective of what kind of ASIC they are deploying or what kind of switches they are deploying them on. And it is backed by the experience of past 3 years, as well as a massive lab, which is OCP lab as well, by the way. We call it one center. It has racks and racks of equipment, which is the latest and the greatest technologies coming from our partner switch vendors, partner ASIC vendors, and also the validated design, which is for IP clause or EVP and VXLAN or layer 2, and also the security vulnerability process of fixing the bugs as the CVEs shows up in the community and everything. So it's essentially a productization of that experience which we are launching, and in the heart of it is actually SONiC build, which is based on community SONiC with the open source, and with a very well tested system on how those fixes which we do goes back into the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if we just look at where we are now versus where we were at the beginning of the year, how many tens of thousands of hours of production time we've added, right, to that institutional knowledge, right? It's a significant number.
Exactly. And look, I mean, if you talk to the customers who are typical enterprises, not all of them would want to go through a very detailed time consuming POCs and procuring 10 different kind of boxes, and then looking at the code and all these kind of things. What they look for is a out of the box experience as they get it today. And when we talk to them, their answer is always, it's like, look, I mean, it's not the matter of if we will do SONiC, if we will go SONiC, is just the matter of when we will do it. It has to reach to a point wherein it can just work out of the box, right? And yes, it has to be open sourced as well. And yes, it has to come up with a validated design, and it has to have a orchestration and operations. It has to have the AI on top of it, right? So what we are by doing this, what we are saying is that, look, you don't have to be a Fortune 50 company to go through all the nuances of picking up the vendor and then setting up the lab and doing the POC and designing and this and that. Instead of that, you just go buy how you buy today, right? And just go to a SI or a WAR or a DISTI, and they will give you a bill of material the way they give you today, right? And along with that, you get the all heavy lifting done on the left hand side, so you can basically deploy with high quality experience and essentially with high quality trust as you deploy today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last question for me. We're kind of entering the December, January, so 2026 is right there. What excites you about 2026?
Well, so this is essentially we started our year with 2-dimension, and me being an engineer, I always like to break down problems into modules. And we at Aviz, we actually broken down our product roadmap into 2 different modules. The first one was networks for AI, essentially making networks for the AI era using SONiC and using Spectrum X with the greatest and biggest GPUs and everything. The second the second module was basically putting AI in the networks, which is more about data, which is more about the ability of having multiple different LLMs for doing the correlations and summarization with the native AI. You don't have to have customized algorithms and everything. The normal LLM should be able to do that, right? So we started with these 2 modules, and now we are ending this year with essentially having this as a part of a single stack, right? And customer can actually start where they want to start. And what another learning, which by the way is a common knowledge, is that no customer in the world start to change the network with the thought process of boiling the ocean. They essentially work project by project. So they will basically have a project for deploying AI fabric, or they will have the project for doing observability, right? Or they will have the project, okay, now this next 3 months I'm going to introduce AI, or they may have a project that I'm going to build a data center, right? So in this new AI era where the networks are redefining, the customer should have a starting point irrespective of what kind of project they are in, and they should be able to start on the journey of standardization, right? So this is what, from the Aviz point of view, we've been able to achieve, at least from our product set, which is based on the open source elements, and give the ability to the customers to start where they want to start with whatever project they have. But at the same point of time, it's not just the Aviz thought. I'm seeing that from the customer points of view, from analysts' point of view, even from the venture capitalists' point of view, where their dollars are going in, is actually aligning into 2026, where customer would be starting in whatever project they have and look for standardization, because the way this technology is changing, and if you want to keep on consuming it at the way vendors are developing it, standardization at some layer has to be done, be it operating system, be it operations, network operations, or be it at AI. You will have to standardize at one level to basically be able to consume these great technologies coming from AMD and NVIDIA and all other different vendors out there. So 2026 will be a year for AI, and will be a year for standardization as per whatever customer defines where they want to standardize. So that's what we are excited about, the word standardization and the word in AI era.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 26 is going to be an incredible year for growth. So I'm looking forward to it as well. So Vishal, thank you so much for spending the time with me. Always learn a lot, and always a pleasure to talk to you.
Same here, Alan. Thank you for having me talking to you. Thank you very much.